President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday directed security agencies to scout for and apprehend culprits of the Christmas Day attacks in Bokos and Bakenladi local government areas of Plateau State, which left about 100 persons dead. Condemning what he called a primitive and heinous attack, Tinubu said these envoys of death, pain, and sorrow will not escape justice. In the meantime, people are fleeing their homes in Bokos local government area after the attacks. In Meyanga, villagers inspected what was left of their homes after the attack. The violence is the worst in central Nigeria since June 2018. Meanwhile, Governor Caleb Mutfwang says the death toll is over 100 as he calls for peace and unity in the state.
You would recall that before I was sworn in, these terrorists descended on Mangu local government, where I come from, which hitherto had been one of the most peaceful in the state, and continued it in the local government of my deputy in Riom, and then, of course, Barkiladi, Bokos. And we worked assiduously. When I saw Mr. President, he gave marching orders to the security agencies on ground, which was what brought the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police. They all came over to the scene of the crisis on the Plateau. And I would say that the collaboration did yield positive results, because you would agree that we haven't been so much in the news in the last couple of months for the reasons of this insurgency and terrorism. Unfortunately, while we were preparing for Christmas, these terrorists, these criminals descended on our people again in various communities. I regret to inform you that as at this morning, we probably have had a harvest of deaths in excess of 100. We have buried not less than 15 people in Mangu local government, and in Bokos, it's 100 and still counting, minus those who are missing that we cannot account for at the moment. Also, not less than 17 communities have been completely burned down, and those who survived are presently in IDP, in the temporary IDP camp, particularly in Bokos. And it's been a great tragedy. What have we done to be able to get to this point before this current crisis? We resorted to both kinetic and non-kinetic strategies. For the non-kinetic, we got into a lot of community engagements, trying to unravel remote and immediate causes of the crisis. We've been able to sit down at various levels with the community leaders. And that worked. It worked to a large extent because they saw our sincerity. They saw our determination to change the narrative, that we didn't just come to have these discussions as usual, just for political correctness. We were able to get to some of the issues that really touch and affect people. But I must say that this recent action has nothing to do with farmers-herders clash, has nothing to do with religion. This is pure criminality. This is pure terrorism. This is just gruesome murder, on the eve of a revered day of remembrance. It's quite unfortunate, but we will continue these engagements and also explore other ways by which we can be able to bring the situation under control. While there may be seeming lapse, I think the way these particular attacks were coordinated was meant to really be on a monumental scale. At a point, we had distress calls from not less than 36 communities. And even though the reinforcements, some of the reinforcements came a bit late, certainly the responses were able to push back these terrorists. That what we are having now, as bad as it is, we can even say is damage limitation. And so there are many reasons for the slow response of security agencies. Part is the channel of dissemination part is the terrain from which these distress calls are coming. And, sometimes when you have achieved relative peace, it's natural.
Well, the governor of Plateau State there, Governor Caleb Mutfwang. Also, the Northern Governors Forum has condemned the attacks, describing them as reprehensible, barbaric, and disheartening. The 19-member forum, under the chairmanship of Gombe State Governor Inwa Yahaya, said the acts of violence are not only cowardly, but also run counter to the spirit of unity and coexistence that the region upholds. The governors called on communities to reaffirm their commitment to peaceful coexistence and solidarity regardless of differences. Joining us now on the morning show is Major General Henry Ayoola, retired, the former commander of Operation Safe Haven in Jos, Plateau State. Good morning, General Ayoola. Thank you very much for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, Dr. Abati, Ayo, and my brother Rufai. Good morning to you all.
Merry Christmas. Wish you the best.
Merry Christmas, and we look forward to a wonderful, better New Year.
Well, General, for 2 days, Operation Safe Haven could not provide safety for the people of Bokos local government area, people of Bakenladi, it even spilled to Mangu local government area. And we've been told between 100 and 160 persons died. Houses were burnt down. The people, as the governor pointed out, have become refugees in their own, in their own communities. About 58 or so communities affected. What happened? Is it that Operation Safe Haven goes on a Christmas holiday, and when there is violence during Christmas, soldiers are not expected to embark on operations? Because you recall that in October, Major General A.E. Abubakar, who is now the commander of Operation Safe Haven, even set up an expanded 36-man joint committee involving the community members, traditional rulers, with the objective of achieving, peace and ensuring safety. But that didn't work. December, when that command was required to provide safety, we were told that they responded late. So were they distracted? Is Christmas time, a very dangerous time for people in such communities?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Abati. I think that's a good place to start. Let me commiserate with and condole the family that are bereaved. Fortunately for me, I'm very attached to Plateau State. Even since I left there. In fact, I was there last week. And for me, what I see, not much has changed. Okay, answering directly your question. So I give my condolences to all those who are bereaved, but let's look at it. It's very disheartening for me, as a person, knowing exactly what the problem is, and seeing us dancing around the problem, more or less palliatives and, movement, motions without movement and all of that. Because let's look at it. It's very similar to what just happened in Israel, the Hamas attack on Israel. Public holidays, it doesn't necessarily mean that the troops are not on duty, but it occurred by the concept of times and seasons. It is a time where any enemy that is determined, that is unrelenting, we usually want to take advantage of, because it's a downtime kind of, occur in any war, there are lull periods. Even all the major wars, the interstate wars and all of that. There is no war where the soldiers engage 24/7 throughout the entire, let's take First World War, Second World War. Throughout the 6 years of the Second World War, it doesn't mean that there is a fight every day. So it's now a function of how much you know of your enemy and how much you preempt, such opportunities like holidays that they can, seize the advantage and pull a surprise. Look at the Israel-Hamas war. Does any nation have a better intelligence system than Israel? With the Mossad, with the Shin Bet and all of them. And they were all surprised on the 7th of October. So the issue is really not how well the military could have preempted it. But the issue is, have we really defined what the problem is? Have we diagnosed, discerned, defined, and dimension the problem sufficiently, boldly, courageously to be able to, come up with the appropriate solutions? To my mind, from what I see, not much has changed. In fact, it doesn't even apply. It doesn't appear we have learned sufficient lessons from all that has happened in the past. So I'm tired of hearing it. If you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, it amounts to insanity. But that's where we are. That's why let's look at it even from the very top. From if I look at the entire security architecture, from policy to strategy to structures to institutions to processes, procedures, drills and routines, and all of those that constitute the gamut of security architecture, not much has changed. In fact, if you look at the political strategic level, it's like we have learned nothing. We have learned nothing. It's like those who are in charge don't even understand what the problem is. Because, when you look at the deployments and all of that I see, it's a joke. It just shows that nothing has been learned over the years. It's as if those who are in charge were in the moon all along and they just came down to Nigeria to now reign and rule. That's what I see.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Major General Ayoola. Thanks for joining us. Now, I want to take you back to a statement you just made, that it appears that those who are in charge don't understand what the problem is. Can you help us understand what the problem is? Because you had the opportunity to be commander of the Safe Haven operation, so you must know what the problem is. Can you share with us that? And then putting that side by side with the statement that the governor made yesterday when he was with us. I asked the question around whether there was an ethno-religious slant to it, and he said it was criminality, shared criminality, tried to move away from that. Can you give us a better or clearer picture of our understanding of what the real issues are in Plateau State?
Okay, thank you very much. I also listened to the governor. Well, the governor is new, and I remember when he first came in fact, just before his inauguration, I was also in Jos when they were celebrating the Biram Day. And it was in that function, I had him make some statements about what he was going to do, regarding these security challenges. Even from that point, I knew he didn't understand what the problem is. The truth of it is that we are a nation that have been boxed into a corner. We seem to be in a state of stupor where we can't even name the enemy. So everything we're doing it's like we are playing a dodging game. That's what I see. But I've written about what this problem is. The moment I left, the command of Operation Safe Haven, I wrote a whole paper. It's there for all the service chiefs. But don't forget that when you're talking about military solutions, it's not something we can, to be inexpedient, to be counterproductive. It will be contrary to the tenets of force protection, operation security, to begin to, outline such things in the open like this. But the paper is there. I wrote about 5 different papers on how to deal with insurgency and terrorism. They are there. They have them in the headquarters of the services. And if they need them, produce them. Nothing has changed. In that paper, I also did an analysis of 8 S's of how to actually profile and analyze the enemy, the adversary involved in this matter. And, we are a nation that so many papers have been written as solution to things. We just keep them on the shelf and keep doing our own thing, and nothing has changed. Okay, so, that's so much I can say about that. And again, when you realize that I'm a friend to all the sides involved in this, like Isaac Newton said, Plato is my friend, Aristotle is my friend, but my greatest friend is the truth. And that's why, I've been on TV for all of these years, and thank you for all the opportunities you guys have given me to talk about this. It's like nobody is listening. And we have this problem in this part of the world that once people get to a position of power, they suddenly know everything. I mean, nobody, no matter, even if you're a juggernaut, even if you're a superstar, you need, we are yet as a nation to put in place how to synergize, how to bring a convergence and put our collective best foot forward in solving any problem. Okay? In other countries that we learn from, when you have a problem like this, you will invite all the former commanders of that same operation and tap from their experiences and put together, something that becomes a synergistic product of all the good heads. Many heads are better than one. So, wonder why all of that have not been done. So, until we begin to face the problem squarely and frontally and brutally and courageously, it's all we're doing are palliatives.
Okay, so we've been doing these palliatives, and yet again, another killing has happened. If you take through a cursory look, just Google just killings. It spans back for a long time as we speak. 2004, hundreds of people. Up to this time, 421 people died, before this happened again. I'd like to ask you, is it political? Is it ethnic? Is it ethnic cleansing? Is it also religious? Can we talk to these people? Do some people want land and chase some people off? Can we speak to them? Are some of the politicians in support of these killings because it favors their particular slant? Can you please answer this question, sir?
Thank you very much, Rufai. Well, I think you actually have given so much of the answer already, but let me join you to elaborate on it. Look, it's everything else but national. I can put it that way. I've spoken about this 1,001. I'm tired of repeating the same thing. There is a clash of civilization in Nigeria. The concept of clash of civilization is not mine, by the way. Samuel Huntington wrote a book called it Clash of Civilization and the Remaking of World Order. And in that book, he positioned the fact that since after the last interstate wars, that most of the wars that will be fought in this period that we are in, from the 21st century, we're going to be based on clashes, based on the fault lines of cultural differences, ideological differences, identity differences, civilization difference. All of these are components of civilization anyway. And in the Nigerian particular case, it's playing out in all of these dimensions. There's a clash of culture, clash of identity, clash of ideology, clash of interest, clash of even pursuit. All of them are playing out. And these are the things directly behind this thing. People can paint this some other way. While I was there as commander, I spent whole days and time researching and interacting with all the sides involved. And so I know firsthand it's not based on reading something from somewhere. And I deal with individuals. The most powerful of the people that are involved and tried to fashion out a solution. Look, it's funny for us as a nation to create a problem, deliberate, systematic problem, and then now push the armed forces to go and solve it. Because we know where the problem started from. Like I said, I've written books that are there. Like I said, I'll continue to repeat that. They're not things, we can start unveiling on the air like this, because, that would be counterproductive. But they are there. And I guess I even know, better than get, I know that those who are behind the problems know that these are deliberate, self-inflicted problems. And until those who have the assignment of solving it, when I hear northern governors, say they condemn, look, we've gone through this route how many times? We condemn this wrongly, we do this wrongly. The truth is that in that 8 S's, one of the S's, which I can just throw that out, is that there are sympathizers. And when the sympathizers are the major actors, what do you expect? It amounts to shooting yourself on the foot to go against an interest that you represent, and you are now put in position to solve that a problem created by that interest. It's not going to work. And we've gone through this too many times, and it should be clear to us by now. The last 8 years, God allowed it for this nation so that we can identify and understand our problem. But we don't seem to have learned anything. We don't see, because, I mean, what else do we need to know where the real issues are? Well, what else do we need to put our fingers on the real, the challenge that we have? So I think what we need strong determination, strong strategic direction, tenacity of purpose, courage and boldness to take the necessary actions. That's what we need.
Okay, General, I get your drift, but I need specific answers. You've talked about the enemy. Who is the enemy? Bitrus Pogu, the president of the Middle Belt Forum, says that what we're dealing with is the ethnic cleansing of indigenous nationalities on the Plateau who are not part of the caliphate. That's how he defines the problem. And some reports have talked about Fulani terrorists. Are they really Fulani terrorists? You were there. You said you spoke to all sides involved. Can you help us identify the sides involved in the crisis on the Plateau? Because you used the phrase, you spoke to all sides involved. Can you identify those sides? And also help us identify the enemy? Because that may take us closer to understanding the problem.
Dr. Abati, we know the enemy.
No,
now, let me put it this way. When I say I spoke to all sides, like I said, the challenge is multidimensional. It's multi-pronged, multi-tracked, multifaceted. Now let's try and unlock and untie some of the knots. Now, number one, we hear things like herders farmers clashes on the Plateau and some other part of the north central of Nigeria. We hear things like cattle rustling, things like land grabbing. All of these are part of the issues. There is no doubt about that. Now, if you look at those areas that have just been attacked, it's the same general area that have been attacked over and over and over again. Okay? And some of the land, some of the places I know by first hand, I've trekked to walk there, run around the hills there severally while I was commander on the ground. And some of these small villages, I know them, first hand. And you will see what are the points of attraction for the adversary there, okay? And the indigenes know. They know who is killing them. They know. These things have been said again and again and again. And that's why I say what is left is the courage to take a decisive action. To say, no, this evil must not be left to continue. Okay? A lot part of those places have even been occupied over the years. The indigenes have been driven out. And some of the places, even the names of the villages have been changed. So there is no secret about these things. They know. They know. And so, it doesn't need to come out of my mouth before it is, does it need any reinforcing of those statements and of those things that have been unveiled already? No, it is. And to tell you this, the adversary is so unrelenting that every opportunity to further their cause, they will take it. And the rest of us are just keep talking. We just keep talking. It doesn't stop them because they know we will talk and move on, and they will gain more ground and wait for the next opportunity, and it's going to happen again because we have not done anything different.
All right. General Ayoola, I do understand that you don't want to hit the nail on the head. You're being careful with your responses. But in order for us to get, a lot of substance from this interview, we do need you to mention, no assumptions around the fact that people know these things. It might surprise you to know that people don't know these things, or perhaps people want to confirm these things from an authority like yourself who served as commander of Safe Haven operations. First question I'd like to ask you, based again on what Dr. Beatrice said, Mahanga forest, what's the significance of this forest as being the hideout of insurgents? And then number two, he said that the government is complicit because they know that the insurgents are hiding in this forest and they have sophisticated weapons, including weapons. Yet the government has not done anything to fish out the insurgents, knowing where they operate from and knowing where their base is from. I'm sure you must know about Mahanga Forest as, when you were in Plateau State. What happened? Why is it difficult for the government to go in there, or security agencies to go in there and fish out these insurgents? Why is it so difficult? Is it complicity? Is it the fact that they're looking away? Again, it then brings back that question of the fact that 2 days and security agencies couldn't address this. It sounds incredulous. 2 days, there's an operation there, were they on holiday? And that's why Dr. Wasi asked earlier that were they on holiday? Had they gone home to their family? Is there a break for the military? It doesn't add up. And these are questions that need answers, definite answers. What's going on in Mahanga Forest? Why has the government not taken decisive action? When you were commander, what did you do to fish out these insurgents? And did it work? And if it didn't, why?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start by clarifying and so many things. When you hear people who have not been to the ground say some of these things, you laugh. There is really nowhere called Mahanga Forest. There is a Mahanga, it's not a forest. It's a very plain ground. It's within the edge of the boundary between Riyom and towards the side of Barkenladi. It's somewhere close to Makoli, Pakruk, and Kura Falls, around after Marseille and Song and all that general area. That's where Mahanga. When I was there, basically what is in Mahanga, it's just a small settlement of, predominantly Fulani. That's the settlement that is there. It's not a forest. So when I hear somebody say Mahanga forest, unless they are talking of somewhere else, but it is a Mahanga that I know, that I've been to physically, that I've trekked through the place, that I've addressed the people there, that I've had meetings with the residents there. It's not a forest. It's one plain ground. Just one or two small hills around it. That's all. Okay, so there's really nowhere called Mahanga forest, not within the plateau that I know.
So what's the significance of Mahanga? What's the significance?
Now, what is significant
according to Dr.
is
Beatrice, that is a hideout. So what is the significance of, whether it's a forest, a plain, a hill, what's the significance?
Yeah, let me explain it. Like I said, it's predominantly a Fulani settlement. In fact, it's simply put, it's a Fulani settlement. Of course, in that general area, there are all kinds of small settlements here and there, And that's not the only predominantly Fulani settlement within, Riyom, all the entire, gamut of Riyom, and all the way from Makira Junction, when you enter Riyom from that side, there's really no particular settlement where you don't have some elements of other Hausa Fulani community or cattle rearers. Like in one of the meetings I had while I was there, it became very clear that this relationship has been symbiotic in the past, where the headers come, the Ardo is the Fulani chief within a local setting anywhere. We take a header that comes with his cattle, introduce him to the chief, the indigenous chief, to say, oh, our brother has come. He needs a place to rear. Don't forget it was seasonal always. This seasonal like that when this movement happened, that he needs a place to rear his cattle. And of course, joyfully, the indigene that will give a cattle with the hope that the droppings and all of that will become manure for his land. And at the end of that season, when the cattle rearer is leaving, they celebrate, they even do a party to send him off. This was working perfectly until at a time when this nice and cool arrangement was offset. And the claim of settlership and indigenship was challenged and all of that. And that whole arrangement was put back, and then they can just come, take any land they like, do what they like. And of course, when there are clashes between the farmers and the cattle rearers, it led to one clash or the other, or one crisis or the other. So we try to put back that arrangement. That even when maybe cattle stray into a farmer's land, we had an arrangement where you can assess the damage, and the cattle rearer will be willing to pay for the damage. And it was working fine. So the problems are known, the solutions are known. But behind all of that is the fact that there is an unrelenting, target and stratagem to use that setting to achieve some other political gain, and that's why the real issue is. So, it can only be best solved by political solution. In which let's look at it. What exactly does the adversary want? What are the indigenes willing to give? It has to be an amicable arrangement, an amicable settlement. If you want land, yes, anywhere, any Nigeria is free to go to any part of Nigeria, buy land from the indigenous. There is no land that is free anywhere. Every land belongs to either a family, government, or some corporate body or individual somewhere. So the idea of coming and just take any land you like is the recipe for confusion. It's the recipe for crisis. Okay, so these are the issues. So, like I said, Mahanga is it's not the only there. So there are there are all kinds of settlements like that. Okay.
Okay. So, General, I also asked, what did you do when you were there? Okay, you said you met with the people sometimes, you had conversations with them. Yeah. Why did the things you do, why did some of them work and did some not work? I want you to answer that. But I'd like to tell you this, General, I see it's been a struggle for you to shoot straight. But let me tell you, maybe this will sink in. Me and you both have blood on our hands. For every blood that is shed in that area, and we have not been able to speak up as much as possible, God will ask us, what did you do in the face of this? And I want you to think about that strongly. This blood shed in Plateau today over Christmas is both on our hands as we speak. It's both on our hands. And I want to ask you this. You said you had written a document and you had touted some solutions. You know some of the actors here. I know for the sake of your job, you might not want to spill a lot, but I just want you to think through that. With blood on our hands this morning, how can we truly solve this? Because we've got blood on our hands. I've got blood on my hands. You've got blood on your hands. We all have blood on our hands as Nigerians as we speak this morning.
Thank you, my brother Rufai. Thank you so much for trying very hard. I appreciate that. But let me put it this way. I told you what I did when I was there. It worked for the period. But like I said, when you're dealing with an unrelenting adversary, you do not only need a tenacity or purpose in pursuing the solution. You need to have a sustainable solution, because you're talking of an adversary that is willing to wear you out. And when you're dealing with, don't forget, we are not talking. It's not a military operation, really. I mean, it's true sense. So it's not like, and the adversary you're dealing with, they are not like in uniform. You can identify them. Well, of course, we know there's a standing, ideology, identity, interest, agenda, and all of that. So, of course, the operatives and the instruments being used to further them are not just, singly definable somewhere, and so you can take them up somewhere. No, but there is so much you can do as an individual. Don't forget, I remember when the governor spoke that first time, like that I referred to. I could see his determination to bring solution to his people on the plateau. But does he have the power? Does he have the instrument, the coercive instrument? Does he have what it takes to bring that? No. The answer is no. So what I'm saying is, whatever I say, there's nothing I'm saying now that I've not said before. Not once, not twice, not for the often time. So what has it changed? So how does saying it again make any difference? What have I not said?
But
about this matter?
General,
yes.
The blood flow, the bloods are speaking, the bloods of those people too are speaking. We should never forget that. General, I get you. You've talked ad nauseum, you're tired, but the blood of those people that'll never celebrate Christmas too are speaking. They're speaking to all of us.
Yes. If you know the danger, the risk, the vulnerability I've exposed myself to in pursuing this thing, I move around. I've talked to elder statesmen. Apart from coming on TV, I've been everywhere. I've talked to elder statesmen on all sides. Short of giving up, which I'm not configured to do, not by my setup, my training and exposure. There is no giving up about anything until solution is achieved. That's why I'm still even engaging at all. But there is really nothing I'm going to say that has not been said, that I've not shared, that I've not written about, that I've not shared even with those who are in charge, who are supposed to take action. So for me, it's deja vu. So it's left for the powers that be to be willing to address the solutions that have been preferred. Take, for example, let's even look at it. Let's look at the national security apparatus from top to bottom. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. We are the only nation I know that have a kind of security architecture that we have that is so flimsy, that is so free, where operators operate like emperors, do what they like, how they like, when they like, if they like. We are the only nation that I know from all my studies and travels that I operate this, and yet we still want to solve a problem, and we have not changed anything that will help us solve the problem.
Well, General.
Is this me who is going to do that?
General, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, the main challenge of public affairs commentary is that even if we said something before, we say it again. We can't give up until we see progress being made. So, it comes with the territory. But there was a question Rufai raised. Do you have blood on your hands? I would like you to answer that. And why do I say you should answer that? Is because one of the allegations by Bitrus Pogu of the Middle Belt Forum is that the security agencies are complicit in this matter. And we've seen videos of security officers seeing people playing around with AK-47 and doing nothing. Are security agents complicit in the matter? Are you guilty as charged?
Thank you very much. I know Dr. Bitrus Pogu very well. He's one of also people I've worked with in trying to find solutions to this problem. I know how passionate he is. He's from Northeast, so he's directly touched and all of that. And I'm not in a position to hold brief for him or to expand on what he has said, or to validate what he has said. That's his opinion. Of course, we all sit and stand in different positions, so our perspective will also differ. Don't forget, I'm somebody who has been in this arena for over 50 years of my life. I started my military career as a boy in the military school in Zaria. So I've been watching this keenly, and that partly explains my passion for the nation and my determination to see a solution. So, but there's so much I can do as a person. That's the point I'm making. Now, the idea that security agencies are complicit, well, the person making that assertion will be the best person to substantiate that. But I know when I was there, I wasn't. And anybody on the Plateau, that's why I still go to the Plateau so freely. The people in the Plateau know me, they love me, they know how much I put in, to bring solution to that problem without taking side. It's a difficult problem when you have to solve a problem without taking side and be a neutral arbiter. But God helped us and we did it that well. And the issue is, in fact, I think I made this statement on this platform before on your station, that when I got there, precisely 11th of May 2012, when I took over, I was so determined that I would be the last commander of that operation, that I was going to bring a final, full solution to that problem. And I worked my heart out. Work with the commissioner of police, the Air Force commander, the director SSS there, with the all the other agencies, civil defense,
General?
all the other agencies that make up that. Yes,
General. Well, I see that your system is almost timing out, but I get your point, and At this point, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show.